There is a clear distinction between the abnormal and supernatural that has existed since the beginning of Riverdale. However, Riverdale just seems to keep up in their previous plot lines and adding in some seriously crazy storylines that will definitely surprise you if you're not up to the date with the series. Stay tuned to find out everything you need to know about Riverdale and why it's time they step away from the supernatural. We'll also touch on other important Riverdale news. Stay tuned for all the juicy inside details. Firstly, why Riverdale really needs to step away from the supernatural. There's been a clear line drawn in the sand between the abnormal and supernatural since the beginning of Riverdale, bringing everything back down to earth without the use of magic. Even the most improbable events, such as Betty, Lili Reinhart, seeing infants floating in the air during season 3, remain grounded and free of supernatural influence. When Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, a sister program to Riverdale that focused primarily on the occult in the nearby town, arrived on Netflix in 2018, it seemed inevitable that magic would infect our beloved characters and spread beyond Sweetwater River. That's precisely what occurred, but perhaps not as quickly as anticipated. Season 6 of Riverdale began with a special 5-episode event called Riverdale, in which our favorite characters found themselves in a shadow town, part of another world that was similar but not exactly the same as the one we've been watching for the past 5 years. And the supernatural was quite prevalent in this shadow village. Several characters died unnecessarily during the course of the 5 episodes. Archie, KJ Appa, was sacrificed for the sake of a curse, only to be resurrected later. Tony, Vanessa Morgan, and Reggie, Charles Melton, both returned after meeting their ends when one was transformed into La Llorona and the other was literally carried to hell after a pact with Lucifer went bad, respectively. Cheryl, Madeline Pelch was discovered to be the presumed dead Abigail Blossom, who had exchanged souls with Nana Rose and had passed on to the next life. Those who didn't die were plagued by various supernatural beings, such as Jughead's Cole Sprouse and Tabitha's Aaron Westbrook ghosts, or Betty's odd contact with the trash bag killer. Jughead became aware of the parallel universe in the final Riverdale episode, while Archie took a dark turn and began slaying everyone since he knew they'd return back to life somehow, like he did. Overall, the multi-episode event didn't quite hit the mark, especially given it kicked off what will most likely be one of the show's final seasons. While Chilling Adventures of Sabrina was a thrilling supernatural journey from the same powers that be, putting Riverdale over the brink was disappointingly mediocre and superficial, making the idea of the supernatural infiltrating the normal universe even more alarming. But honestly, it would be a huge error to bring in the supernatural at this point in the game. Riverdale has a history of taking the easy way out, as evidenced by Betty and Archie's infidelity on their long-term lovers, or rather, lack thereof. In a more grounded universe, the writers must adhere to a set of guidelines. Although there isn't a logical way out of the situation, the writers must adhere to certain guidelines in order to keep the show anchored in reality. Plus, a big part of Riverdale's appeal has always been the zany nonsense that the writers can concoct that mostly works out in the end. Fits nicely with the campy vibe that Riverdale has always maintained, which would be lost if the supernatural began to affect the tales. These characters aren't suited to the program becoming something completely different, especially at this point in its career. During the first few seasons, everything was created around these characters and who they were. So now it's just way too late for the show to bring a supernatural aspect in and change that. It'll definitely come across like a desperate attempt to revitalize the show if things start to become polluted by the supernatural, which will probably do the exact opposite and drive viewers away. It's obvious that all fans and viewers feel this way and have been feeling this way for a while. Riverdale was amazing in the first few seasons, but it quickly started going in all different directions, meaning there are just way too many storylines to keep up with and drives the show further and further from reality. It'll be interesting to see if there will be a 7th season and what will transpire. Will there be a 7th season of Riverdale? As time passes and the series reaches higher season numbers, there's always speculation about when they should or will conclude Riverdale. While the CW is known for wrapping up stories in the last seasons of shows, most of the network shows terminate after 7 or 8 seasons. Given that Riverdale is already in its 6th season, it's no surprise that viewers are becoming increasingly concerned about the show's future. So the biggest question remains, will there be a season 7? While we may have have some insight. During a recent Instagram Live, actress Lili Reinhart, who plays Betty Cooper on the show, seemed to hint that the series might be coming to an end when she told her followers that season 7 could be this series' final season. "I'm not sure. We're aiming for a 7th season, and then that'll probably be it," Reinhart said, causing a stir among fans who are now worried that Riverdale may be canceled by the CW shortly. So how worried should fans be over Reinhardt's remarks? We'll have to wait and see. What we can tell with certainty is that Riverdale has not been canceled, and neither has the CW confirmed a specific end date for the series. Riverdale is likely to return for a 7th season in 2022-23, despite the fact that the CW has not yet renewed it for season 7. CW has a history of handing out renewals early in the season, sometimes only a few weeks in, as it did earlier this year when it renewed practically its entire programming slate barely 3 weeks into the new season. To put it another way, we don't expect any formal word on whether Riverdale will be renewed after season 6 until next month. However, this gives a decent sense of where Reinhardt's mind is at, and the Riverdale creative team appears to be very publicly open to feedback and discussion with the actors, so this isn't something she's just saying. When will season 6 come back in 2022? Unfortunately, we'll have to wait until 2022 for Riverdale to return. The program won't be showing on Tuesdays as it was in the fall. New episodes of season 6 will premiere on the CW on Sunday, March 6, 2022 at 8 p.m. ET. Other CW series releases coming in 2022. You can start counting down the days till your favorite CW mid-season shows return if you've been missing them. The network has announced launch dates for December and early 2022, as well as mid-season return dates for existing fall programming. On January 11th, Superman and Lois will premiere Naomi, the network's newest superhero. What does this mean for The Flash and Riverdale, both of which have 5-episode events set to premiere in November? They'll be off until March, when they'll return on new nights: Wednesdays for The Flash, the series' first change, and Sundays for Riverdale. Let's take a look at some CW shows that will return for another season in 2022. Kung Fu Season 2. In most cases, reboots are a risk, but not in the case of Kung Fu. Star Z Moss said to Digital Spy that this fresh take on the 1970s show, which was formerly headed by a white male, is reclaiming that story. And he's absolutely correct. The CW's reimagining of the Kung Fu series puts the Asian American experience front and center in ways that are all too rarely seen on television. Season 2 of Kung Fu will premiere on the CW in the United States on Wednesday, March 9 at 9 p.m. ET. The series will now air in a later time period than before, following The Flash's most recent episodes. But at the very least, we have something to look forward to on our calendars. Charmed Season 4. Reboots can be dangerous, but the CW's Charmed has proven that lightning can strike twice in the same location in the right circumstances. The original Charmed lasted 8 seasons, so the current version still has a ways to go, but it'll be halfway there with season 4. When is this season going to start? Well, it's been officially confirmed that the popular series will return for a 4th season on March the 11th of 2022. Yay! We can't wait to see what will go down and how the reboot will portray this season. And there you have it, everything you need to know about Riverdale and why they really need to step away from the supernatural type of content. Fans unanimously agreed and hope that the series, if it comes back for a 7th season, will stick to its roots. Additionally, we also touched on whether or not there will be a 7th season, when season 6 will return in 2022, and finally, other exciting CW series that are returning in 2022. Make sure to let us know your thoughts down below. Are you still tuning into Riverdale? What do you think of it now? Will they return? Let us know. But if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss any of our new and upcoming content. Thanks for watching.